أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولتكن منكم أمة يدعون إلى الخير ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر وأولئك هم المفلحون.
Sheikh Ashik, to answer your question on that respect, I know that Rushnara Ali, the MP for Bethnal Green and Bow, was invited. Afsana Begum, the Limehouse Poplar MP, was invited. Asma Begum, who's the educational lead and under whose portfolio this falls under, was invited. I understand from those who invited her, she used the Purda excuse. I don't see how Purda excuses her from coming to community meetings, but that's the excuse she gave. Mayor John Biggs was invited. He too is unable to attend to hear what the local community has to say and the concerns they have. So those who we empowered, we, the local residents of Tower Hamlets, have empowered, they have today turned down the offer to come and tell us their views or even hear the local voters. I will pass now on to Sister Sufia Alam. Sufia is the manager of Maryam Centre, where actually Sufia, you actually hold the light, because it's our mothers and our wives and our sisters who take the children to school, and it is they who engage and interact with schools. And I know you've been involved in the various meetings with Kate Smith. So Sufia, if you can tell us your experience and what have the mothers and sisters, the parents, have said to you.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters, panelists. Thank you everyone for joining. Indeed, I have been part of this journey, and it's been a very difficult one. In my 30 years almost of community organising and community development of especially women's work, I've not been this much inundated by a certain concern. And as the Maryam Centre manager for the last 2 years, this has been a big topic. Parents have really been concerned about this issue because they feel quite powerless. You know, my work has been about empowering women, giving them the voice, you know, to engage. We've done so much progress in terms of getting school governors, representation of women in school governors, and yet we're stepping back because women are feeling powerless. Why? Because they're not being heard. And in this particular subject, you know, there is a cultural sensitivity, there is a religious kind of right that parents feel, and being in a borough where we've had a brilliant relationship, I am disappointed. I know it is a difficult time, you know, in terms of politics, but I am disappointed that our politicians are not here to hear the community. And I know there's been lots of conversations, but what I've been hearing from mothers and parents and concerned parents, that they feel powerless because they can't make that decision what to teach and what not to teach, and what age and what not to age, and to teach, and at what age. So even for myself, I had made it my mission to read the DfE guidance, and you know, some of it didn't make sense. And even having this conversation with Kate Smith, you know, at one stage we had to close or we had to cancel one of the sessions because I don't think I could have managed the crowd. And it was because people were raged because their questions were not answered. The things that the very religious values that this borough normally takes into account. And we've had a brilliant relationship in terms of accommodating that. But in this subject, it was kind of contradicted by safeguarding and equality law, which really, you know, disempowered women, because there were women who was parents that were coming to me and saying, I want to speak to my head teachers. I don't want to ruin this relationship, but I'm also concerned that they're going to be reporting us to Prevent and being labelled as extremists. But I just want to know my rights to teach my child on, especially something that is very close to our religious values in terms of modesty. And, you know, even for me, you know, my kids have grown up, but I feel, you know, naming body parts and little 5-year-olds going around naming explicit body parts is not a progressive way, and it's nothing to do with safety. And I work with safeguarding children and those bodies, and it really baffled me as well. So I really, you know, we was really concerned about this, and I think, you know, the meeting with the mayor, you know, I'm hoping that it will be positive in the coming weeks, and he will listen to our concerns. And more so, finally, I just want to add that I'm also a member of the tension monitoring group in Tower Hamlets, and this is the very tension that we talk about with, and I reported it to one of the officers that we don't want a Birmingham situation in Tower Hamlets. We've come such a long way, and in these 2 years, you know, Brother Dilwar and these panel members have tirelessly worked to you know, come up with guidelines with legal support that at least, you know, we could work something out. You know, we are a multicultural society, a community, and we're tolerant, and we all work side by side, but it's little values that need to be taken into consideration. And I think, you know, we need to be, as parents, you know, we want to get our mothers and parents to get involved in with their school, have those conversations and explain to the head teachers, and we can support you through the various panel members here. So with that, Brother Mizan, I'll pass it on to you, and if there's any questions at the end. I think I've covered most of the things, but I think, you know, I'm really disappointed that we can't work this one out.
Sister Sufia, I'm grateful for that.